Hey guys, welcome to our review of House of the Dragon Episode 2. Does it keep up the surprisingly good momentum? And I would say right away that yes, Episode 2 does a good job of setting up the machinations of the rest of the season. Decisions are made here. Events happen here that set in motion the coming Targaryen civil war. And I thought some of these scenes were well executed, though with a lower budget in certain instances. And we'll get to that. But I thought the little bit more exploration of different characters was good because we desperately need some of the rest of these characters besides Daemon Targaryen to be fleshed out
He's
for
a
me to
standout,
care
that's
about.
about it, yeah.
Right? Because Daemon is way up there. We're loving his performance. And in this episode in particular, we don't get a lot of Daemon, but we do get an expansion of his character to where this is not a Joffrey. Daemon is not a Joffrey. He is a more complex character in the sense that you can tell that while he's a shithead, he's the family shithead. He cares about his brother, the king. He cares about his sister, Ray, and so he has depth to him. He doesn't like other people talking shit about his family. He talks shit about his family. And
gotta say
basically
whatever he
a
wants.
huge troll and an amazing moment in the episode when Daemon basically takes over Dragonstone, is fucking insulting his brother and the king, and then the king has to kind of deal with this and Ray factors in. We'll get there. But I thought it was another great episode and setting up things for the future. What did you guys think?
I really like Daemon, even though he wasn't here for a long time. His presence is still felt.
Oh,
Like
yeah.
that wedding, was just a slap to the face. It's like, what is going on? He's like, yeah, come on by, and he stole the egg. I was just
Isn't that
like,
funny that when they
yeah.
went there, motherfucker was not having a wedding and didn't even have a child, and he's like, "Yeah, take the egg, man.
It's like,
Fuck
I
it,
was just being a dick.
Yeah.
But I like his
But
character
you-
so
but
much. He's like not
me
even
too.
there, but he
That-
still
it's-
lingers
but-
around.
That's fucking genius. You
It
think
is.
about it, it's a win-win for him because he's testing his brother's strength, and at the same time getting renown within the kingdom for
Yeah, so
potentially
I'm liking
staying
the
on
boundaries that are being pushed and the setup that's being laid out
Mm-hmm.
throughout the kingdom with the king trying to remarry and the Valerian not
Oh,
being
yes.
happy.
Those
That was kind of weird.
huge decision that the king makes in this particular episode. Fucking stupid, right? I mean, on moral grounds, it's great, right?
Yes.
Because I think the show could have done a much better job setting up his interest in Alicent. Because if he does it for love, you don't really see that in the show. There's not enough time to flesh
just-
out
yeah, it's like
that he
slim
wants to
pickings.
make that decision. Because clearly his duty as king, there was one clear choice, right? Other than it being super fucking creepy because it's a fucking 12-year-old. And when you see this a Valerian girl that he's supposed to marry, the camera has to fucking pan down because she's so goddamn short, But obviously makes the wrong decision, at least in the context of the kingdom and doing your duty, because it's going to set up a potential, war and civil war and
Yeah,
ruffle a lot of
exactly.
feathers because he
Yeah.
does it for love. And it's like, why? Because Alicent was nice to him.
That's what
The
it just
night
felt.
is
It's like, look, she
wife
just felt
pass
like the
away.
obvious, like not really the obvious choice. It's like just being nice. It's like, hey, I'll
Like,
fix your,
that's pathetic,
I
bro.
fixed your toy.
Right.
It's like, oh, I love you. It's
Yeah.
like,
But here's another reason why I think the series is great is the symbolism in it. The broken dragon, right? And then she mends it, and right? But then it's gonna break again, and yeah, it's the symbolism is great. But I do got to talk about this is the first time they showed the opening credits, and it is literally Game of Thrones fucking theme again. I'm like, that is lazy as fuck. Are you serious? You're just going to reuse the credit song? I mean, and then they got the blood in the streets. It's a little heavy-handed. That's fine, but reusing the song, man, give us something original. Alex, what did you think of the episode?
I think I liked it less than you. I think that the time jumps in this are doing this series a huge disservice. I think one of the most important decisions in the next 100 years in Westeros happened in this episode.
What was the time jump?
It's a 6 month
6
time.
months?
It's a 6 month time jump. And then the most important decision that's going to affect the most amount of things just happened in this episode, and it wasn't earned. It just it just happened for no reason.
Yes.
I don't buy it, and I'm just sitting there going like, why?
What the fuck? Why Alicent?
Why are we rushing? Why? Like what? What about the first 6 seasons of Game of Thrones made you think that we have to get to the insane combat right away? And if we are
It's
rushing
10 episodes.
if we are rushing to Battle of the Bastards season 7, season 8 fan service big fucking battles, that's not what I want from this series. Take your fucking time, make these decisions make sense. Because I sat there the whole time going like, this doesn't make any fucking sense.
He chooses love over duty, which makes no sense.
Because
I don't think the show has done enough setup for it. And that not only did they not set up the love with Alicent or why he would choose Alicent over the clearly correct choice for his kingdom, and is maybe he could say they could show that he doesn't have 4 years to wait because she's 12, and then they said she's gonna, they're gonna wait 2 years, I guess, not even 4 years, but maybe show that he doesn't have the 2 years. So have this show have more urgency, where he's like, well, I've got to extend my line, and I've got to choose right now, so that's why I'm choosing. At least it makes tiny more sense, but that doesn't make sense if it directly conflicts with the fact that he wants his heir to be Rey.
Yeah, I think that if it actually makes more sense for his character to take 2 years, he can marry her.
Rhaenyra.
He can marry the correct choice, and he doesn't he won't be sharing a bed with her. And then she even said it's gonna be 2 years. He gets to fucking heal. He gets to do all the things that he wants to do, and then kind of figure out his time. It felt odd that they were rushing through some things. I think that a lot of this, I don't dislike the show. I think it's still kind of going in a good direction. I'm still enjoying it. I'm very worried. This is the point right now where I'm like, holy shit, we did a time jump. This whole series is time jumps. All of the young actresses get replaced in a couple episodes.
You can't really get around that, especially if you're covering something where, it spans multiple decades. And I just think that's fine. That time jump is not going to bother me so much when we get to later on. This time jump, I agree with you, because it's like,
if you fuck up the very first time jump that's only 6 months and I have problems with it originally, I don't know how much I'm going to buy a 10-year time jump later on when we're talking about a massive civil war and people killing each other. We are just talking about a dude showing interest in someone he's going to marry, and you can't nail that. Fuck you, you're going to be time jumping 10 years into a civil war. I'm just saying that this is the first time that I should not be having alarm bells go off right now. It's like, how do you fuck this up? And then at the post-credit sequence, he's like, well, she's clearly upset. And it's like, this is fucking stupid. You don't know what the fuck you're talking about.
Once again, and people jumped on me last time. How could you say that? You disagree with it. I'll explain it when we get to there. But again, I also disagree with this one too, because it's like you didn't do a proper job of setting that up. And we're not saying that, oh, you guys, stop complaining about the fact that he chose Alicent over Lyanna or something. That's not the problem, because that's the event that sets into motion everything. It is a dumb decision from truly not a very good king, but that's the point of it, right? That he is creating conflict. But we were hoping that it would, be depicted in a superior way than it was, because it feels breakneck. It feels out of the blue. And I guess it's supposed to, but they should have done a little bit better job on that.
We've seen it done by better writers and directors over and over and over, because it's a trope that exists in the fantasy world, and it's done very well by other people. It's just not done very well here.
Yeah, but I think a lot of the rest of, other than that, I think a lot of the rest of the episode was done very well. I liked all the individual scenes between the different characters kind of talking to each other, establishing the relationship, obviously establishing the relationship between Rey and Alicent. They're holding hands. They're clearly friendly with each other. And this is going to be a huge conflict when you're playing the Game of Thrones, where it's like these are two opposite sides eventually of what's going to happen. I will say the inside of the episode also reveals a huge thing about the future. You might want to stay away from the inside of the episode if you don't want to know what comes after this marriage between Alicent and Viserys, if I got that right, the king. I like the scene with Rey and the queen that never was. That was interesting. They're both kind of, real, sort of lamenting about the fact that some men in the kingdom would rather see the kingdom burn or would choose a far inferior choice or somebody that's going to be a mad king rather than have a female in charge. And again, time appropriate, period appropriate makes total sense here. Maybe setting up these two to be rivals with each other in the future. Thought that was strong. But and of course the big scene from and this crab guy. So initially I saw some people complaining, why the fuck are they talking about useless stuff in the court at the beginning of episode 1? Lord Corals is talking about pirates, and I'm saying, God, yes, that's obviously planted for future conflicts. And we get an expansion right away. You see this crab feeder, I guess they call him, right? And he's like feeding bodies to like fucking like getting eaten alive by crabs and shit. It's like, what the fuck? And it's reinforcing the idea that this king is weak as shit. There are fucking crows pecking all around him, and he doesn't have enough gumption to like get the fuck out of here, eliminate those people. And then his brother's fucking challenging his rule, and he's like soft-handed with his brother. He's fucking up his alliances with Valerians and not strengthening his alliances where he needs to. And it sets up that drama well because Daemon can kind of slide in and ally with these people who think that his brother is weak. And then we get the best scene in this particular episode. The strongest scene is sort of it was undermined a little bit because it's like when they're explaining what the shit talking that Daemon's doing and where he's at, it's like, I'm like, go over there and fucking bring an army and get his ass out of there. You know what I mean? And what do? They send 20, send fucking 20 guys. I'm like, some of them don't even look armored. There's a few that have armor, and they send Colton there with, I don't know if that's the guy's name, right? Cole with them, the knight that Ray chooses. And I'm like, are you fucking serious? This castle is massive. It would take a much bigger army if something were to go down. They'll get fucking murdered. Now, I get it. It's just the messenger. It's just like, hey, cut the shit out kind of thing. But you don't, again, it plays into how weak the king is. But honestly, what it really is the budget. I mean, you're not going to show you. It's a lot easier to dress up 20 soldiers. And then they act so surprised when they're like, what? You have a dragon?
A Dragonstone? No way.
No. There's a dragon here.
Let's get the fuck out of here.
So if we ever, when you go there, you have to prepare for the anticipation that he will resist and it will become bloody. And you show up with 20 guys and no dragon at Dragonstone. You're an idiot, and I fucking hate that decision. But it's the drama, and it's set up for Ray to come in. And beautiful shot. I think that this series has much. It's surprising, but it has more beautiful shots in it than Game of Thrones in season 1. I love the clouds, and then how it's kind of like a sky shark almost, where you see the water moving, and then the dragon comes up. And she shows up, and she peacocks a little bit. I like that shit. I'm like, good. I need Ray to do some smart shit. Ray to do some initiative shit for me to like her character. Because right now, I'm like, yeah. And I'm calling her Ray just so I can get her name right. Because it's Ray Renara. And she shows up there and, gives them dragon backup in case something goes down. But also is of an intelligence that knows that, Daemon has a soft spot for her. And they have a relationship to where she can disarm him. She can call him on his bullshit. And she calls him on his bullshit. And
she knew from the very beginning that he was bluffing. From the very beginning, she's like, look, this isn't you. This is you're being a petulant fucking child. I'm going to call you out, and I'm going to publicly embarrass you. And she was right.
Yeah. It was a fucking badass scene. And then, his mistress gets all pissed off because, he's like...
It's like, you didn't tell me all this stuff.
All this shit about we're having a baby, what? And he's like, oh, eventually, maybe. Just like, what the fuck you? But that was a bad. Like, I hated her accent when they had her scene.
I don't like this scene.
I was like, damn, man, that's not a good accent. This actress, I don't know. Just use her normal voice because it ruined the fallout of that particular thing when he's in there. I did make a note that towards the beginning, the CGI is inconsistent. Sometimes it's good, sometimes it's bad. Because towards the beginning of the episode, they show the city, and me and my girlfriend were like, "Wow, that looks bad. Like the city looks really bad. It looks like from it's like Rome Total War video game when they're showing the city."
How dare you? That game's a classic.
Yeah, but a classic 20 years ago. Yeah. But then it looks good when the dragons are confronting each other and shit like that. So I don't know. I don't know what's going on with the budget there. And then 20 guys show up to take on a castle and potentially evict somebody. That's not happening. But overall, I thought some great moments, some questionable choices, but I liked it. I thought it was good. So yeah. So why don't we? Anything you guys want to talk about? Anything else? We'll go into the nitty-gritty here in a second.
More in the spoilers, but we'll just go with final verdicts.
Yeah, let's go with final verdicts.
You want to go first?
Yeah. I had some issues with this one. I'm gonna go a little lower than I did before. Mm-hmm. I think that I've got issues with the king. I don't have issues that the specific decisions that he's making. I think they're important because they drive the plot of the entire season and they set the tone. The issue is it feels like cartoon level incompetence where he's just making these decisions and there's not all the circumstances that the filler that lets us know why he's leading to those decisions. If he is just completely destroyed by grief of losing his wife and his son, if he's drinking, if he's got someone, leading him in the wrong direction purposefully and like fucking everything up, these important decisions are earned. Now, when it happens is you have a dumb guy making a dumb decision that's going to lead to pain and suffering for the entire realm. And yes, it can happen because, people are inherently stupid. It's just, for me, it's not satisfying to watch. Mm-hmm. And if you guys like watching a fucking incompetent idiot, like, plunge the world into chaos, then that's then fine. But I don't enjoy that kind of thing. So I think that they're rushing. I don't like the time jump just kind of, I think ruined a lot of the setup, stuff that I needed to have to be coherent here.
I understand, and did you see in the promo of the next episode? There's a scene where I screamed at the TV because he's screaming at Ray. He says, "Not even I exist above tradition and duty." Yeah. He's like screaming at Ray, like trying to teach her a lesson. Like, motherfucker, you just married the wrong fucking person because you thought you were above tradition and duty. Get the fuck out of here. And I get that's the point. But you have to realize that we're not mad at the fact that he makes the wrong decision because that's the point of setting up the House of Dragon and the fight. Show his side why he makes the dumb decision a little bit more so that we can say, I see what he says. Still the wrong decision, still going to lead to bloodshed and conflict. But yeah, okay, cool.
Yeah, it almost feels random. Like the decisions that he makes almost feel random. And randomness, when bad things happen in a video game or in storytelling to a character that you like, for just like dumb luck, feels bad because you're like, man, this bad thing wasn't earned. I don't know why it happened, and so it just doesn't feel good right now.
Even Ray was like, "Wait, what?
You're marrying her?
You're marrying my best friend?" And then he looks at her all like confused. Like that's the audience's reaction to what he just said.
Yeah, and then there's so much of Daemon that I like, but then he just sits there and lets his lady kind of yell at him, and again, he's just. I didn't like that scene. It's like there's parts of Daemon that I don't like where there's some really cool things that you think that he's building him up into something, and he's almost,
I like that he's got a code. He's not gonna he likes obviously his concubine there, and he's not gonna he's not like a Joffrey piece of shit.
Yeah, he's not evil for evil's sake. I'm not telling you that he needs to be abusive, but she's like, I don't feel safe. It's like, well, maybe you shouldn't have gone and set up a false kingdom with it. Like, it just didn't make sense. It's like we needed more of that 6 months fleshed out because she's talking about not feeling safe. It's like you purposely went to steal a castle from this dude's brother. You knew you were going to do it. Like, shut the fuck up. Mm-hmm. So I think this is average. I think I'm going to give this a 5. I think that there's a lot of setup here. This can still go in a great direction, and there's a lot of pieces being put in the right positions. I just think it's sloppy. And it worries me that it's so early in the season I'm feeling sloppiness and feeling rushed when honestly, if HBO wants to milk this like I know they do, they're talking about multiple series, take your time, really flesh this out, make this a wonderful series. I don't need you to get to the fucking dragon explosions all the goddamn time. So 5.
Joe.
Yeah, I can see that. I'm going to go with the 7. I actually do like the setup, most of the setups that was going to be laid out here, except for
the crab fight with the dude.
Yeah, I'm like, all right, let's see what's going to happen with that. The Daemon and the Valerian, the little pact that they got going on. But again, the weakest part was the king aspect of this series for me. The decision and just
the depiction of it.
Yeah, they could have elaborated a little bit more on that.
Yeah, and that does get hurt by the time jump too. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a 7.
7. Okay. Yeah, I was about there. I was like 7, 8, and then that kind of time jump and the execution of that particular thing. Again, not mad that he makes the dumb decision because that's the setup of the series. I just wish they would have fleshed it out. I don't know why we're rushing. Why do we have 10 episodes? Go 12, something like that. We'll see. It's going to be a shame too, especially if you start to sort of grow accustomed to these actresses and actors. I don't know how many are going to be replaced during a time jump, or if it's just Rey's actress that gets replaced. That kind of fucked up. If that's the case, it's kind of fucked up. But we do know she does get replaced eventually by a different actress. But so yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how that goes. So 8 out of 10 or 7 out of 10 is what I'm going to ultimately go with. But I like the setup here, and hopefully we get some good stuff. So, jumping real quick into the episode breakdown, like I said, really weird that they're reusing the Game of Thrones song. Think it's lazy. I don't mind some throwback or little jingles that's Game of Thrones, but do your own thing, man. It's just really desperate. And don't remind me of HBO's Game of Thrones right now, seriously, because it's like fuck. So yeah, the Viserys is or the Valerian dude is complaining about the crab dude attacks. He says, "See, I told y'all so. Y'all guys are still, not doing anything."
I have a hard time caring about any of these conflicts at all under any circumstance in a world where dragons exist, and we know how fucking OP as shit that they are, and they've got a bunch of them, and they could just end an entire fleet at any time.
Stupid.
And so it's just
use your damn dragon.
That's what she suggested, didn't she?
Yeah, she did. So that's another clever aspect that I liked. It sucks, and they talked about it in the inside the episode, that she was named heir, and she's still the fucking cupbearer. And in fact, she'll include something like, why don't we use the Dragon Riders? Shut up, bitch! Serve us some wine. It's like, damn, man. And you'll see that it was purely ceremonial. And the fact that her father kind of supports it and says, yes, why don't you go pick the Kingsguard replacement? And, and that's good. But it's good in setting up drama, So I thought that scene was well executed as well. And then, of course, she goes and picks the hot dude. The guy that she got the hot for. But
he's got experience.
He's also he's the most qualified.
He does have experience. You know what? I get what she's doing, and you're right. That would be a good choice. However, just because you've fought in a battle before doesn't mean you're better than Attorney Knight who can kick other knights' asses. Because a lot of people in battle, they're kind of a combination of luck and skill. Some of them were definitely skill, and some of them were definitely luck. Maybe this guy sucks.
Maybe he just went to battle and didn't even do anything.
No, he doesn't suck because it's shown that he knocked that motherfucker off the horse. He even reminds, I like that little barb. Yes. He's like, who are you again? Because he's making fun of the fact that he doesn't have station and he's not a lord. He's like, well, maybe you remember that time I knocked your ass off your horse. And all that. Yeah. He's like, he even was like, oh, well done, touche.
I don't mind her making the wrong political decision because it just shows that she doesn't fucking get it, right? She's 15 and she just doesn't understand. So, like for picking the guy that she knows with combat experience,
yeah.
like
no, I don't think that's the wrong decision. I think it's the right decision.
I mean, it's like from Game of Thrones.
It does piss off the...
Politically speaking, it's you're not going to get killed that a foot soldier breaks in there. If you piss off a house, the house is going to rise up against you. So politically speaking, it is 100% the wrong decision because there's going to be no fallout from not picking.
Well, it just lowers the reputation meter. Fucking rise
there's like the combat score and the political score. She shows the right combat score, but it's like in Game of Thrones, you don't die from that.
Yeah, and then Corals offers his daughter to the king to strengthen dragon and ships. That's the right choice, honestly, for the kingdom. Look, from a watcher's perspective, look, your wife died. You don't really care. You're not expecting to fall in love. He's like constantly saying, like, I'm not interested in this and that. Then fucking do your duty. Then do what's right for the kingdom and like ally and fucking get all these people that are attacking, and probing you and testing your thing. But he doesn't.
Take 2 years to
Allison is there.
Yeah.
It's weird that we're advocating for him to marry a 12-year-old, but that's how it was in the fucking medieval times. times. And to me, it could have been ceremonial because, like, again, that was the love of his life. His wife passed away. It's just ceremonial. You know what I mean? It's like we're just doing it for political things. But no, he chooses Allison because I guess they fell in love and she gave him a toy, and
in the last 6 months they definitely fell in love. He just didn't show
not depicted right. If it was, then we could get it more from his side. So he gets advice from this guy. This motherfucker gets advice from everybody, and every single person is telling him, "You need to strengthen the kingdom and marry Lawrence or whatever." And he's like, "Yeah, I'm gonna do it." It's like, you fucking.
I had a theory that there was an Otto scene that got cut.
Otto
is Otto Hightower, the Hand, where the Hand gives him a speech, right, and just says, no.
Well, I thought it was clever that he never pushed his daughter. So I think that's clever. He never pushed his daughter, making it feel like the king was making his own decision to get with her, when really the fucking thing contradicts itself inside the episode again later. We'll get to that in a bit, but what were you saying?
Every single person tells him that you're fucking dumb, don't make this decision. And if there had gotten, I at least need something, because right now there's no reason that they should ever be together, other than she fixed a fucking little dragon that broke. And so,
and she was there for him while giving him comfort, right?
Yeah,
talking to him.
Sat next to him, and
but was nice to him.
Yeah. But if there had been there could have been a scene of Otto just trying to, not say marry my daughter, but talk about, sometimes it's important, because they both lost wives, and they both can. If he had kind of led him in that direction, it's more believable. Yeah. But it felt like there was just an entire scene cut.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or an episode or two.
Yeah, because you gotta kind of make Otto a little bit more into
like conniving.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. So, anyways, we have that scene where he's walking with this, 12-year-old. You realize how young she is. You can tell right then. He's like, not interested. Not gonna do it. And we get the scene of the two queens telling each other that men would rather burn the kingdom than have a queen to rule, and that's obviously foreshadowing for what's to come. And I remember, as they're telling him what his brother was doing and shit, like, he's like, what should I just put his head on a spike? Yes! If you're the king, and if he's literally saying, I got my own kingdom, I'm the true king here, and heir for a day, your son's dead, go over there and fuck him up.
And I stole your dead son's egg for my son,
right?
And all this shit.
Send the fucking army. Send a detachment. And then when I heard, we'll send the detachment, I'm like, thank God. And then I'm like, we'll get 20 of my best men. I'm like, 20, what? 20 of best men to die?
There's 2,000 gold cloaks and a dragon. You're fucking dead.
You're an idiot. You're fucking stupid. And then the fact that they get surprised, what? You have a dragon? And they're so fearful. They're like screwed at that point.
Oh,
if Ray does, because they will fucking probably die, and then he wants to see what his brother would do. What are you gonna do, bro?
Well, he hates Otto.
Yeah, so he was probably gonna kill him. Luckily, Rhaenyra shows up to save their asses. Then we have that scene with him and his concubine talking. Terrible scene, awful, not good. Then he asked for yet more advice, and this completely neutral guy, we barely know his name. I don't fucking know his name. He's like, bro, look, the 12-year-old is the smartest choice. It's just ceremonial. You should wed Leona, and it will strengthen the kingdom. And he's like, got it.
Psych.
And then
I choose?
I've made up my mind. It's like, wait, when did you make up your mind?
Yeah. Before that, they had to have a scene where he's mad. He's mad at Ray for leaving. But dude, what she did was necessary because your ass is not doing shit correctly here. So
there's no bloodshed, and she brought back the egg.
Exactly, she did exactly, and I like that she gets that moment because it shows you, okay, let's establish her, let's make her faction where she is, smart. He talks with his daughter, and his daughter. Because she obviously, her mother passed away, and to see your father, remarry kind of fucking sucks. But she's like, Dad, I understand completely. This is do your
This
duty.
episode, I understand. Next episode, I'm going to forget because we only remember that duty is important in this episode. Next episode,
Dad,
we're going to forget
marry
that.
whoever you need. She should have added it, except for my best friend. Okay?
Well, that's what the director said. And it's like, I'd never bought for a second that she would be all that upset about the best friend.
Best friend. Yeah, me too. Yeah,
So where'd that
ultimately,
come
it's
from?
like, why? I mean, if anything, you're going to see your best friend even more. Your best friend station rises. I guess because the selfishness where she's the heir, but then if she marries her best friend and she's of childbearing age and then they have a child very quickly
marries,
and
though.
then, yeah.
That's
so.
literally anyone he
It's
marries,
just like
though.
stepbrothers. I'm not calling her mom.
True, true. You're right. So, yeah. Anyways, he chooses love over duty, I guess, which makes no sense. And I just don't think the show did that setup. We already talked about that ad nauseum.
Booty over duty.
Booty over I like that. Rhaenyra's upset, and he's surprised that his daughter is like, what the fuck, Dad? And he's like, oh, I thought you'd be happy or whatever. And then we get the last scene there where Corals is shown talking to Daemon for alliances. Like, we have to, make a name for ourselves.
Part of the episode. This is some good stuff.
Yeah,
right
this
here.
is good stuff.
I even like the barbs from. He's like, look, I get to talk shit about my brother, but you do not.
Yes.
And so like, there's some good stuff. There's stuff brewing. I mean, like other than that one scene where I don't like of Matt Smith. Like I think Matt Smith's killing it.
Yeah.
He is. Guys on Reddit, summarize it perfectly. Daemon comes really off like a child who wants attention from his older brother. Like everything he does is a cry for Viserys' attention. I love that he was telling Corals that he can't talk shit about Viserys because it's his other brother and he loves him. But yet he's, fighting him for, it adds layers basically to Damien's character, that he's a shady, scheming little sneak with a passion for violence, but he loves his family wholeheartedly. So I like that when you give characters like lines in the sand where they won't cross, because eventually if they do cross them, then you're like, whoa, fuck.
Yeah.
All bets are off. So anyways, that was a great scene. And then I think he's suggesting basically in this scene for Daemon to take care of the crab problem, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, get on a dragon and go burn down all of the ships in a heartbeat. They should take an afternoon and this whole problem will go away and it never should exist in Game of Thrones if dragons exist.
Exactly. And that would prove his worth, stake his claim to the throne. It's like, dude, your brother's like taking care of all your shit. You kind of suck. So anyways, dumb choice for Alicent, but will have repercussions down the line. That's likely the point. The mistake may lead to ruin. In one move, the king ruined his relationship with his daughter, ruined her relationship with her best friend, took the most powerful house and sided it with Daemon. In a single move, he fucked everything up. And we just wish it was done a little bit better. I do like they name dropped. I forget what the dragon's name is, but they name dropped this massive fucking dragon that's bigger than all the other dragons somewhere out in the world. Yeah. Do you think that's a Chekhov gun? Eventually, this huge fucking dragon will show up.
Oh,
sure.
Of course.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, she's gonna go tame. She's gonna lose her dragon and have to go tame that later on in the time jump. Because what she's gonna, we're gonna time jump and she's gonna have the dragon. We're like, how did you get it? It's like, I'm not gonna tell you because time jump.
Well, I cannot wait for that gun to go off, and they better do a good job on the CGI there. But so yeah. Anyways, I like the symbolism that they've shown at the show. Like the king, he's kind of rotting away. He's got maggots. Ooh, fucking sticks his hand in a big old bowl of maggots, and it was just a tiny prick on his hand from previously in the. On the Iron Throne, he pricks his hand.
Yeah.
And that thing is now rotting away. It's like those tiny little pricks can rot away the kingdom, and and then the broken toy dragon and everything. So anyways, now I wanted to get right before we end this to that inside the episode. So previously when I people were like, what the fuck are you talking about the baby thing? So let's talk about in the inside of the episode. So the way they depict the scene where she's giving birth, the maester comes up to him and says, well, I've used as much poppy as I can. You have to make the difficult decision, an impossible choice. Save one or the other dies. So me and my girlfriend watching it thought, well, there was still a possibility to save the queen. Like kill the baby, save the queen, and then maybe they could try again. Or save the baby. But when the inside of the episode rolled around, it was like, no, clearly she's dead, so the hard choice is to save the son. I was like, well, no, I thought it was either or. But so that's what I meant. Some people interpreted the scene where it's like, no, the wife was already dead, so might as well gut her and cut her open and kill her. But I thought it could still go either way. And this particular one, it was, they said that Alicent's actress says she doesn't have any ulterior motives. you know, when she's, you know, with the king. And but I was like, but that's not the way it was set up. It was set up that she does have ulterior motives. I guess she's saying Alicent doesn't have ulterior motives, but her father does, and her father pushed her towards the king.
Yeah, I mean,
but it's like she's not a fucking idiot. And then even in one of the scenes, it's depicted: are you gonna go, you know, talk with the king and sleep with the king tonight? And she was like, only if you wish it, you know. And when you depict it like that, it makes it seem like she's only really talking to the king because you fucking told her to, right? Yeah. If you're depicting it in the way that she's just being innocent, she likes hanging out with him and loving him and whatever, then she should be like, I'm going to go talk with the king tonight. And he's like, well, good, because I set that up, you know. Anyways.
Yeah, the actress may not just, you know, shows the wrong words, but it's like that character fully knows what the actions are intended for. Even if it's not her intentions, she knows what she's there for.
And then, spoiler, they show in the next episode, or the future episodes, that he's going to get with Alicent. They're going to have a son relatively quickly. And the son, I think, is named Aegon. And then I think that is going to... And so initially I thought it was going to be Rey versus Daemon. But maybe it's actually... No, because how fucking quickly... If there's a time jump, how quickly can Aegon grow up? Is it going to be Aegon versus Rey? And then Aegon...
That's too quick of a time jump.
Rey, Aegon, Damien, the Queen that never was, all these different factions. Is that how it's going to kind of be? I don't know. Or maybe it's Alicent on behalf of the younger, you know, Aegon, and they fight. So, I don't know. I'm interested to see where it goes. I'm interested if the battles are going to be between 17 knights on each side, behind some rocks so you can't see the rest of the army. I don't know.
I think next episode's going to be a banger, especially if Daemon takes his dragon to blow up a bunch of ships. You will see some really, like, if the CG's been kind of iffy, I think if they've been pooling their money, then this next one, like the people who want explosion, I think we're going to get some really cool shit.
Yeah, they do show that. They show we're losing. And it's like, okay, bring the dragon in, and then they start.
You
winning.
Can't lose if you have a dragon. Like it just like
infantry.
This world has been established through all of these books in 8 seasons. Like dragons are a fucking cheat code. You don't get to tell me that these fucking crab crucifier people get to like beat up dragons.
Crabs.
Yeah.
Crabs. Oh, now they fly all of a sudden.
Yeah. These crabs are gonna form together and have like an ultra.
A crab dragon. Crabatron.
Yeah, that would be amazing.
Nice job. That's what they saved the budget for. All right, guys.
What?
Thank y'all so much. That's it for House of the Dragon. Enjoying it. Hopefully it goes up from here. All right, guys. We'll see you on the next Angry Joe show. Bye, guys.